But if we stop and again ask ourselves, is this dialogue rooted in what Yeshua is saying here? Well, if we last week, as I mentioned, skipping the part about the fasting, the wedding bridegroom and the bride and all that stuff, skipping that part of the story, if you just start in verse 16 and look at those details and corroborate this story against the other two places that they're found in the Gospels, it doesn't seem to be that Yeshua is replacing the cloth, the garment, or replacing the wine and the wineskins. The language here doesn't permit that. And yet, this is the common interpretation that we walk away with in modern Christian commentaries and sermons and things like that. So let's look at this. That's what we've been doing. And we've been using different resources in my commentary here that's available on my website at tetzetorah.com. And we used resources from gotquestions.org. We used Pastor John MacArthur. We used Pastor John Piper. And now we're looking at Pastor David Guzik. All of these gentlemen, as I keep stressing, highly respected, and they're well trusted, and they're good resources. If there's one thing I want you to walk away with, is that these resources come highly recommended. All right? As someone who's been leading Bible studies for 20 years, 25 years or so myself, I can't recommend these resources enough, right? Pastor Piper, Pastor MacArthur, Pastor Guzik, Got Questions. Those are just a smattering, right? I mean, a very small handful. But they're all trustable, they're all reliable, and they're all basically free, right? That's the big green light for me is, when you have no budget. I'm not even rich enough to afford a shoestring budget, right? I'm so poor I can't even afford a shoestring. So when you're that poor, having a resource like these available for free on the internet is just a bonus, right? It's a gift. It's a blessing. So that's one of the reasons why I make these available, so people can go back and fact check me. They can go back and read on their own and say, Ariel, I read this and I didn't see it the way you saw it, and here's why I disagree. Hey, I'm fine with that. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm blindsided. Let's look at this. Let's pick up my commentary again. It's where we left off last week with Pastor David Guzik, where he's talking about the wineskins. Let's just pick that up again and start there. So these are Pastor David Guzik's words. Quote, but they put new wine into new wineskins and both are preserved, right? So he's going to comment on Yeshua's terminology. These are Pastor Guzik's words. Jesus' reference to the wineskins was his announcement that the present institution of Judaism, you ready for it? Listen very carefully. The present institutions of Judaism could not and would not contain his new wine. He would form a new institution called the church that would bring he would form a new institution called the church that would bring Jew and Gentile together into a completely new body. And he's referencing Ephesians 2:16. So in Pastor David Guzik's understanding of this parable or anecdotal story of Yeshua, the understanding is that Yeshua is bringing something new without saying it that way, right? Obviously we're reading into Yeshua's words because Yeshua doesn't say out of his mouth, right? He doesn't say, behold, thus saith the Son of Man, or, verily, verily, I say unto you, or something like that. He doesn't say, I'm starting something new. Judaism, you're out. Christianity, you're in, right? That would really be inconvenient if Jesus did say that, because then it would be unmistakable that that's what he meant. But based on the parable of, the new wine and the wineskins and things like that, the interpretation is brought forth by modern Christian authors, which is kind of built upon author after author after author who've just kind of assumed that this is what must be Yeshua. This must be what Yeshua meant about old wine, new wine. He must be talking about Judaism is out and Christianity is new, right? It's in, and things like that. So let's keep reading. This is Pastor Guzik as well. Again, these are his words, which are available in his commentary, which I'll show you the link for later. Jesus reminds us that what is old and stagnant often cannot be renewed or reformed. Now, again, in concept, I agree with what Pastor Guzik is trying to put forth, right? Practical, common sense application kind of works here, but as we looked at it, and we don't have the time to do it now, maybe I will do it later on in my commentary. I can't remember if I did or not. But